loves, it is Tatiana Volkt here, and we're gonna be doing a reading vlog for Becca's Bookoplathon. I'm so excited because this is going to be my first 48-hour reading challenge or readathon, and I'm so excited. It's gonna be really cool. I haven't done anything like this, obviously, since I just said this was my first. What is wrong with me? I am a little bit tired, so sorry if I'm out of it. So the whole entire event is going to be live streamed for the entire 48 hours with a bunch of amazing hosts. I will have the announcement video down below if you're interested in learning more about how the whole thing worked and what's going on, but you'll probably see some of that in this vlog. If you participated, let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to know what your thoughts were, what you read. Just like, let me know, because I am so excited. Since our host, specifically Becca, is from the UK, I believe, it's taking place in the UK time, which means for me, the start time is 5 p.m. Friday night. They, I believe, are supposed to start at some time on Saturday. I'm starting Friday night. I do have the prompts for the first book, which is a dark cover and fantasy. I'd like to, if possible, read a book for every single prompt, or read a book that has every prompt in it, if that makes sense. So combine them as much as needed or spread them out when I want to or whatnot. I'm going to just be focusing on this. I've done all of my other responsibilities. Patreon stuff is good to go and ready. All of my like personal tasks that I needed to do are done. I dropped off my returns. I watered the plants. Like, I am ready to go. But it's not 5 o'clock yet, so I haven't picked my first book. I did want to say a special thank you to Emily, who ended up getting me Clap When You Land from my Amazon book wish list. Oh my friggin' god, thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much I squeed and was just delighted when I figured out what this was. I was very confused at first and then just flabbergasted. This means the world to me. Thank you so much. I hope to do a reread for a vlog soon. This is one of the only books on my wish list that I've read before. I read it last year and absolutely loved it, so do highly recommend it. But I'll do another reading vlog just because I have been gifted this. Oh my goodness. And I will include a clip of me getting this at the end of the video. So if you're interested in that, stick around, I suppose. But thank you so much. The other bit of news, in between books, if there is the chance, I might not be able to. We'll see how things go. But I have House of Leaves, which I'm currently in the process of reading. So this is my in-between prompt book. So if I pick a graphic novel and read it in an hour and have nothing else to do, I'll pick this up and try and get through this chunker, because I still have a lot to go. Even though this is a little bit misleading because I've also read a chunk in the back as well. So I don't know exactly how far I am, but it's not far enough considering it's March 19th and I need to finish this and another book by the end of the month so that I don't get any punishments for my tabletop TBR. Now I'm going to be playing the waiting game, but you will see me when the clock strikes 5, or actually probably like 10 minutes before that when I'm trying to find my first book. So I will see you in a second. Okay, the countdown begins. It is 4:54 p.m. I am waiting for the live stream to start, and I have picked out a bunch of books that I currently have that fit the first prompts, which are dark cover and fantasy. So all of these should be fantasy. They all have dark covers.
But yeah, introduce yourselves to your channel, whatever, and let everybody know what you're reading. And yeah, so we'll see how long the dice sprints go.
Okay, so I'm currently in the live. I have the Ravens booted up and ready to go, and then I was thinking, because Becca is gonna try to do all of the prompts individually, I was like, well, if I can, maybe I should. So I went to look to find a fantasy and a dark cover book that is significantly shorter than my other like combinations, although this could work. Like this could just be the one that I do because I believe this is also fantasy. So these might be the options that I go with instead. I'm going to watch some of the live while I download these 2 audiobooks from my library. What I thought I'd read, what I'm actually reading. While we wait for this to download, I'm going to make myself some popcorn. Also, I could use some more caffeine.
Fall silent for an unintended moment was his extreme beauty. His skin was as pure as jade. His eyes and eyebrows were like ink.
Okay, so I am 134 pages into The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water, and I don't entirely know what to expect, and I'm like almost done with it. I am enjoying it because I'm just like here for the ride. I have no clue what this was supposed to be about. There's some things that I'm sort of wanting to happen, but I don't know if they're going to happen. I don't know. I'm digging it. I am tired though. It's 7:39. We're about to start the next reading sprint. Yeah, I'm tired already and I haven't even started the second book for the night. Also, I finished an entire box of Wheat Thins. Okay, it is 8 o'clock, 3 minutes left of our sprint, and I have just finished The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Zen Cho, and it was cute. I liked it. I don't know how much I can talk about it without spoiling things.
From Blood and Ash, which is the one I want to read and have 300 pages left of. Basically, this is my attempt at keeping everyone awake at 4 a.m.
Okay, so we're on to the next live stream. This one is Book Browsing Blog. I didn't know that was the title of her channel. I watched her Book Dart TBR, another great inspiration. So I am subscribed and I follow her videos, but apparently wasn't observant enough, admittedly. But anyway, I should pay attention to what's going on because they've got like games and stuff, which is cool. It does seem like I'm gonna stay up a little bit later than I had intended because I am participating in all of these lives. Not all of them. I'm going to bed after this. I'm not even going to stay for all of this, but because I'm participating in this, I imagine, you know, what should have been finished by now slash, you know, in an hour is probably going to take 2 more hours for me to complete, but it's all fun and games. It's fun. It's fun. It's game time.
Oh, good lord. Carry on, I guess. Adulthood. Good books you want to read. Good old rock, paper, scissors. God damn it, Maddie! Is that right? Yeah.
I leaned against the sink and folded her arms. Tell who? Redemption? Yes. This keeping of a secret. It is not a good thing to keep.
Good morning and welcome to day 2 of Bookopoly. It is currently 4:57 a.m. Yes, I woke up that early so that I can watch the next roll drop. I am committed. I technically haven't finished my second book from yesterday. I'm going to watch the roll drop, pick the books, finish this, and then decide other stuff. I imagine some point today I will be taking a nap. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, hopefully this starts pretty soon. I don't know if I want to have caffeine yet because I'm not sure if I'm gonna like how soon I'm gonna go take my nap.
We'll get screenshots first.
And that is a book with POC rep.
Yes.
Is 7. And that is a contemporary.
Oh no. Okay, so we got the roll drops, the first one being a POC rep. I ended up picking up The Empress of Salt and Fortune. And then for the contemporary pick, I'm picking Long Way Down, which I'm super excited about because it seems so cool. Apparently it's about a guy who's on an elevator after somebody that he knows gets shot, I believe, and he's going for revenge. But on his way down, every floor, somebody else gets on the elevator, and it's just him having those experiences. I'm going to start back up with Pet and hopefully finish this soon so I can start on the next books. And I guess while I'm listening to this, I'm going to see if I can download these guys.
The limit had crossed worlds for her. It would not be stopped, but Jen knew she had to try. This was bigger than just one hunt, just one monster. She reached it.
I just finished Pet. I tried to record some of my response because I was in tears. Like, I started crying because this just touched parts of my heart and really got me like thinking and feeling. This is definitely a 5 stars for me. This was beautiful. This was a beautiful book. It was very well done. I really enjoyed it.
I believe nothing these days, which is why I haven't told nobody the story I'm about to tell you.
Are you a cat person or a dog person? Yes. Relatable. Okay. So I am reading Long Way Down. I am a couple of pages from being done with this, and this is such a strong, powerful book. Highly recommend it. It was beautiful. It was strong. And then listening to the author's interview was also really nice. I listened to the audiobook from my library. It was narrated by the author. I read it as I was listening to it, so I got to see how it was written and hear how the author intended it to be read, which was powerful. So now it's time to get to these books. I'm not going to read these as quickly because, as I saw, not a surprise, I went to Scribd to listen to them, and as soon as I unpaused my account, these were no longer available. That's not helpful. Do you really have to stand on everything? I don't think anyone wants to see your butthole. Can you move? I'm gonna start on these guys. Okay, first off, I fell asleep. I was reading, so I had finished The Empress of Salt and Fortune and started reading When the Tigers Came Down the Mountain. And although I was really into it, my not sleeping enough last night finally came up to me and I just took a nap. Or so I thought. A few hours later, I finally woke up and finished the book. So I read both of these and I loved it. It's like 3 o'clock at this point, so I have a couple more hours until the dice drop. I enjoyed both of these a lot. So it's basically I believe they call them a cleric who kind of goes around and collects stories and then brings it back and records it so that they can have these stories from people like historically documented. And sorry, it got really hot, so I'm wearing my sleeping shirt, don't judge. But yeah, so That's what it is. I don't think these need to be read in order because they are very separate stories. At this point, I have completed 5 books for the challenge. I'm excited to get the next prompts and figure out my next books. I do only have like an hour and a half left at this point before the next roll drops. So I think I'm gonna try and read this, and then hopefully I can get some more audiobooks because friggin' Scribd, as usual, let me down for these because they're on Scribd, but they weren't available to me. So far, the ones that have been the most emotionally impactful have been these. Both of these I'm pretty sure are going to be 5 stars for me. It's possible that I might give this one 5 stars just because I really enjoyed it. But these 2 I think are going to be 4 stars for me. I think I'm going to switch over to this for now. Bye! Okay, because it's too hot to put a sweater back on, I changed so that I can still be cute, whatever. Also, and Kiwi, please stop. Stop it, Kiwi! You fucking suck. You suck, you little turd. I love you. I heated up some leftovers, crab fried rice. Last reading sprint, 23 minutes, and then transferring over to the other live.
Doing this fine. Well, it's Sunday for me now. I think it's still Saturday for you, isn't it, Lexi?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh my gosh, you're gonna be so tired.
Bookoplathon board roll number 3 is an 8, and that is the first book in a series.
This is the second roll.
Is a 9, and that is a chance card.
You can use a random number generator to pick which book you end up having to read.
Okay, so I guess it's not surprised that I'm gonna look a hot mess during this weekend. Because I keep like falling asleep and my makeup's all messed up. At least my nails are still okay. Anyway, so the next 2 rolls are the first book in a series, which is so upsetting to me. I am not happy with that. And then the next one is a chance card. So I'm going to be using my TBR jar. Okay, so I don't have a ton of options in here if I'm being honest. I'm so nervous. What if I don't like it? Damn it! Of course I get what I'm not super excited about. So I picked Heartless, so I'm gonna be continuing with Heartless. The benefit of this, even though it's one that I'm not like super excited about compared to all of the other books, I do want to read it, and I have technically started it, so I'm not gonna start over. I'm going to continue where I left off in January, which admittedly wasn't very far into it. Here I am trying to see if there's anything that will really fit what I'm looking for. What do we have? Gosh, if only I didn't read this last month. This would have been the one. Like, these are all the books that I've read. Like, same with this. I read all of my duologies. Okay, I figured it out for the first book in a series. It's a book that I have to read with my eyeballs, but we have the Adventure Zone, Here There Be Goblins, the first graphic novel in the series. I friggin' love the Adventure Zone, and I technically haven't finished this one, I think. I have 3 of them. I like pre-ordered them as soon as they become available because I just like friggin' love the Adventure Zone, which started off as a podcast and is amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna finally sit down and read this whole thing in one go. So that's the series. So these are my next books. Here's where I'm at in the series for Heartless. So let's get to it.
Another buoyant smile, to be the source of his easy laughter.
They're losing their shit. Oh no. What the hell?
You and the person she tells you not to worry about.
Okay, so I just finished my reread of Heartless. I started this in January, didn't get very far, so there was a lot left to listen to. And I still think this is a 5-star. I'm pretty sure it was a 5-star the first time. If it wasn't, it is now. I don't know if I can listen to this or read this book again. It's so well done. It makes me like I'm crushed. Like I'm absolutely crushed right now. I'm friggin' heartbroken. And it doesn't help. Like it seems like this readathon, I am an emotional wreck. I'm just ready to like bawl and cry and just be like a complete mess. I don't know why I'm so emotional, but like every book I'm reading is making me cry. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna try and read this and then go to bed so I can wake up but friggin' early tomorrow. Okay, so just tuned into the next live show. It is 5:06 a.m. I had a harder time waking up this morning than I did yesterday. I do not know how people wake up with alarm clocks. Like it is not the business. It's just not. It's a horrible sleeping experience. I don't get it. Anyway, I still need to finish the Adventure Zone, so I'm going to be doing that first. Hopefully we'll be able to get through this pretty quickly, and then we have the rest of the day, the rest of the readathon to finish the next 2 books, and hopefully I can have audio for both of them so that I can work on some other things while I'm doing it. Maybe do some art, maybe. I've been watching the lives for this whole thing, and that's so cool to me.
Right? I'm like, I've never had this many people in my house before, so, welcome.
And that is other.
So if you have any questions about this is my interpretation. Take your first 2 genres that you mainly read, ixnay those, go to the 3rd one, and beyond. There you go.
And that is a book set in the present.
Okay, so we just got the last 2 roll drops. And so first one was other, so a genre that isn't your main genres. So my main genres are romance is number 1, and then horror thriller is number 2. So everything after that is free game. So I actually think I'm going to go with The City We Became, which is a fantasy sci-fi book, which is fantastic. Also, I love how much POC rep we've got going on in this challenge. I'm like, I'm digging it. I'm digging all of the Black author, Asian author books that we've got. And then for set in the present, take a hint, Dani Brown, which I really wanted to read this. Oh gosh, it looks like it came damaged and I didn't realize it. That damage though isn't that bad. It's just squished, which is annoying. But anyway, we're gonna read one of my faves, which is a romance, which I haven't been reading like at all this whole challenge. So yes, yes, yes. I don't know what's wrong with me, but okay, yeah, so gonna finish this up. I have the audiobooks for both of these. This one's prepped and ready. I do have to hunt this one down, but I think that should be pretty easy. And then we're good to go. Those are the last books of the friggin' challenge. Because this is the last book, I might even read Act Your Age, Evie Brown right after. I don't know if I have the audiobook for this one though. I'll see if it's available at my library. Fingers crossed. I might just use my Audible credit for it though, because I'm loving this series so far. So might as well. It looks like we're about to start our next 25-minute sprint though, so I will catch you later. I'm about to read this shit. Okay, so I have officially finished the Adventure Zone Here There Be Gerblins. This is the first book in this series. I absolutely loved it. No surprise there. I have been so excited to see how everything translated. The fact that I've been so excited, but it's taken me so long to actually finish this book. And now I can read the other two that I already have and perhaps be prepared for the fourth one when it's finally released later this year, which I'm so friggin' excited about.
Hachette Audio presents The City We Became. Written by N.K. Jemisin. Read by Robin Miles.
So, I have no clue what's going on so far. Like, no clue. But I will say, the idea of being black in some sort of like sci-fi situation and being the first to notice things is terrifying. Also, when you think about it, the idea of being black in certain like horror situations is also terrifying, because there's that added like mistrust, non-believing, like stereotypical thoughts that people have towards black people. So if a black person is in the middle of something that sounds crazy, okay, the last live with Becca and a few other booktubers has just started. I still haven't finished The City We Became. I was hoping to finish both of these as well, and I'm starting to think I'm only going to be able to finish one, so I'll be able to do 9 for this whole thing, which is heartbreaking. I really thought that I'd be able to get through both of these, but I'm still a good chunk into this, so I will say that the lives do make some parts of it harder because I want to pay attention to what everybody is saying in between the sprints. But at the same time, there are some times where like that is what keeps me going, especially when I'm not listening to an audiobook. But since these are all audiobooks, I could just listen to these non-stop for this whole entire time and get a little bit further. Less than 4 hours to finish as much of this as I can.
I got to good parts in both of the books that I used. So I painted my nails and was listening to Sleeping Giants. And then I was like, okay, I need to pause because I'm like gonna end up just binging the whole thing in a minute if I don't stop.
Moved her laptop from her work set, put it on the desk, then jumped to the bag unceremoniously onto the cold hard floor. Uncovering a whiteboard pen, she pointed at the table of students waiting for her, all of whom looked slightly unnerved, which was just how she met them. Christina Rossetti, Goblin Market, let's discuss. Emily started off. The sleepy young teenager wrapped a strand of long blue hair around her finger and said promptly, tell me about Annie.
Only because I see you in my streams at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and they are good streams. They are good
We'll
streams.
see.
All right. Okay, so it is 5:47 p.m. Bookoplathon ended 47 minutes ago, and I just finished the last book. Whoops. But hey, I tried. I did want to squeeze in Act Your Age Evie Brown, but this book took forever. So I wasn't able to complete everything. I did finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I finished 8 books during the readathon. I started the last one for the last prompt and finished it late. I'm still counting this because I did read a good majority of this, like before, like by the time it was over, there wasn't that much left for me to read. So I think Bookoplathon was successful. So I am tired now. I'm going to read this because it's just the business. And I think I'm going to give you a wrap up of all of the books, what I think of them, little synopsises and whatnot tomorrow. I'm going to try and make myself look cute because I am too tired to do that right now. So hopefully it is light enough outside tomorrow morning before work for me to do this and wrap up the video. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I'm done. I'm done for now. I was successful. I'm going to bed early, hopefully, maybe not, because I'm about to start another book and I ain't going to bed until this one's done. Hello, loves. It is time for our wrap up. I ended up reading quite a few books for this Bookoplathon, the 48 hours. I technically read a little over. We'll talk about that when we get to it. I also read a good chunk of House of Leaves in between some of the roll drops, but I didn't complete it, so we will not be going over this. Let's get into the reviews for what I've read. First book I ended up reading was The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Zen Cho, and this was for the prompt dark cover in the first roll drop. This is basically about a nun of the Order of the Pure Moon, and she ends up joining a group of bandits after they save her in a situation and kind of help them with a thing that they're kind of working on, and there's stuff that they go through, there's relationships built, there's this kind of sapphic love interest that kind of happens at some point, and it was really enjoyable. I don't want to say too much because it was really short, and yeah, I did like it. I thought it was beautifully written. I really rooted for the characters. I thought it was interesting seeing just like the world and the kind of like martial arts vibes that we have going on with it. I don't know, I think it was just really beautifully done. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Then for the next prompt, which was fantasy, I ended up picking Pet by Kweke Emezi, and this is basically about a world where a lot of the horrible things that we're used to no longer exist. People are more open and accepting. Our main character is a trans female, and there is no issues with that. It's very widely accepted, which was a really nice feeling for me to kind of see that representation and not have it be some sort of tragic experience for the character. But in this one, a imaginary friend type character, which I don't actually think is the best way to describe it, but I hear that a lot, kind of connects with our main character, and it is called Pet, which is why the book is called Pet, and she has to work with Pet to help them on a mission and kind of discover what's happening and if it's actually happening, and kind of help the people that are affected by it, who happens to be a friend of hers. And it's a very meaningful story, kind of wrapped in a fun little adventure kind of situation. in this fantasy world, and I really appreciated how it was put together. I loved the messaging behind it. I loved that we were trying to learn about all of these old things that we experience in our world on a regular basis, but that they don't experience in their world, and how they kind of use the idea of like angels and monsters to represent, you know, kind of good and evil and things like that. And I don't know, I thought it was really well done. I definitely cried, as you saw, because it was very emotional, and I ended up giving it 5 stars in the end. Then for the next prompt, I ended up going with Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds for contemporary. And this is basically about a boy whose brother was killed, who was shot and killed, and he is, you know, following the rules of his area and going to avenge his brother's death. And on the way down, at each floor, somebody comes on to his elevator ride and kind of shares information with him and tells him, you know, basically stuff that they've gone through. And it has a very emotional feeling to it. The whole thing is written in verse. It's a really, really quick read. I listened to the audiobook while reading it with my eyeballs, and that was an amazing experience because it is narrated by the author, Jason Reynolds, and it's beautifully done. I ended up giving this 5 stars, and I highly, highly recommend it. It is very emotional, and it's just very touching, and it gets you thinking. And then for the prompt POC rep, I ended up going with The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Ning-Hee Vo, and When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain, also by Ning-Hee Vo. So these are part of, I guess right now it's just a duology, but I'm assuming there may be more in the future, who knows. And they're both very, very short. And it's basically about the main character who goes around and collects stories to kind of document for historic purposes. And in the first book, they end up talking to a woman who ended up helping and befriending and falling in love with the Empress, and it kind of is that story and how that went down. And there's sapphic romances in both of the stories, which I think were beautifully done. It was very interesting. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. And then this one, the same cleric goes and experiences a story about a tiger who falls in love with a scholar, and this whole thing was really, really interesting. I loved the story that they were gathering along with the story that they were living, basically. I think both stories in this was fantastic, so I ended up giving this 5 stars. So in this case, I think the story that was being told was interesting, but everything else was kind of so that's why that one only got 4 stars. Otherwise, I absolutely adored both of these books and highly recommend them. Then for the next roll drop, I added a bunch of options of actual books into my TBR jar and picked at random. I ended up getting Heartless, which admittedly at the time I was not excited about, but this is a reread. I don't know what to say about this because I don't want to give much away, but it's basically in the, you know, Wonderland world. So there's these Alice in Wonderland vibes, even though it's not about Alice. I really liked that. I also loved the romance and the friendship and the self-discovery aspects. And then there's also this kind of tragic aspect about it as well, which I think was very well done. It was very emotional for me, and I really liked it, and I gave it 5 stars again. So then for the first in a series prompt, I ended up picking out The Adventure Zone, Here There Be Gerblins, which is the first in the series. And I'm a huge fan of the Adventure Zone podcast, which is a actual play D&D podcast put on by the McElroy brothers and their dad. It's so adorable. It's so great. And the first campaign that they ended up running, the Balance campaign, was so amazing and touching, and this is based off of that campaign. I think they did an absolutely amazing job. Carrie Peach is an amazing illustrator, and I think she just did phenomenal at illustrating all of this and working with Clint McElroy, their dad, to retell the story that we get from the podcast. So I loved it. It was 5 stars for me, and I'm excited to finally read the rest of the books that I currently have and can't wait until the next one comes out. Then for the next roll drop, we ended up getting a not your top genre pick, and the way it was described to do that was to think of your 2 top genres. In my case, that's romance and then horror thriller, and then ignore those and pick anything else. So I ended up going with sci-fi, which I was thinking was my least favorite, but I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. And then fantasy, which is one that I really like but have a hard time finding books that I actually enjoy within that. So I ended up picking The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. And this is another book that I'm not 100% sure the best way to describe it. It definitely is high on the sci-fi elements. It's a city that's kind of coming to life as it is being taken over, and there are a couple of characters who are connected to the city and who are kind of dealing with this as not everybody is aware of what's happening. I did think it was fun. I did like it. I had a good time reading it. I don't personally love the way it ended. I felt like it kind of came on a little bit quick, but I don't know exactly what I was expecting or what I would have wanted instead. I do feel like I don't know, I was just so with it. So this was actually a 3 stars for me. Still liked it, but wasn't a favorite for sure. And then for the final prompt, it was set in present, and I picked the final 2 books in the Brown Sisters series. So Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and then Act Your Age, Evie Brown, which is the 2nd and 3rd book in the trilogy, I'm assuming, because there's just 3 sisters. I absolutely adored these. These are both romance. This one is a fake dating romance, and this one's a kind of enemies to lovers romance. I wouldn't say this is a strong enemies to lovers. Basically, our main character goes for a job interview, starts off on the wrong foot. The guy doesn't like her right off the bat, and then she ends up running over him and decides to help out because she injured him and he just needs the extra hands. So it was cute. I loved it. This one was also really fun because we have 2 friends who are very different in what they're looking for. Our main character, Danny, is not interested in a serious relationship. She just kind of wants friends with benefits. Our main male character, he is a romantic. They are friends and they kind of flirt with each other, but aren't seriously thinking about anything until a fire drill ends up happening. She gets saved by him, and there's a picture taken that kind of makes it seem like they are a couple. People mistake them as a couple. It ends up helping his nonprofit, so they decide to continue doing that, and that's kind of how everything goes out, which is just really adorable, and I really liked it. Both of these highly recommend. Not a surprise because I did enjoy the first one. I will say I enjoyed these even more. It seems like each book I liked better than the last, so I'm sad that it's over. Anyway, so that wraps up with our Bookopoly wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am so sorry it took so long to come out. Lots of things has been going on, and vlogs are just really difficult for me to edit right now, so I think I'm going to take a break from doing vlogs for a while, and I am hoping to do some art videos instead. I have an idea, but I just don't know when I'll have time to shoot and edit the first one. So sometime in April, I will try out a new series and see what you guys think, so stick around for that if you're interested. I should have my tabletop TBR pick for April coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that as well. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. Add this emoji to let me know that you made it to the end and to help boost the video in the comments and stuff like that. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Until next time, bye!